Welcome back to the debate. Joining me on the show, Tim Sherwood and Andy Townsend. Tim, big news for Spurs, of course. Yesterday they kept hold of Christian Eriksen, rumoured to be leaving for many weeks, of course. He is still a Tottenham Hotspur player, but is that problem solved or is it just delayed until January, do you think?
Well, he's run his contract down for a reason. It wouldn't be a money-motivated reason. Christian Eriksen wanted to leave the football club because he wants to go to a club where he thinks he can win trophies. I believe that's a difficult task. You know, to find a club better than Tottenham to win trophies. Maybe you have to go abroad. If it's Real Madrid or Barcelona, if the two giants would want to take him. They obviously didn't want to take him for 50 million.
Were you surprised at that?
No, not when he's got 10 months left of his contract and he can go free at the end of the season. Now, the fans are delighted. Obviously, I'm delighted as a Tottenham man that he stayed because they've got nothing like Christian Eriksen there. You know, he's a model professional, this kid. Let me tell you, I mean, he's a dream. He's a great ambassador for the football club. He's a great example to the younger players who are coming through. His work ethic every single day, the way he applies himself towards preparation for the games, and the way he plays on the pitch. You know, he's got that guile. We all know about that. We know he's got the guile. He's got the eye for a goal. He can see a pass, a load of disguise in it. But his work rate, the amount he moves around the pitch and eats up the ground, and he's always available for his teammates, and he's willing to put the hard yards in to win the ball back. He's a top player. He can play for the two giants in Spain, and he can play for any big club. Now, hopefully for Tottenham's sake, then big clubs are not going to be there for him at the end of the season. And then I believe that it's possible that he could sign a new contract at Tottenham. And I really hope for Tottenham's sake he does. Because Alderweireld looks like he's going to move. And at 30 years of age, it's probably his last time. And Jan Vertonghen at 32. It's probably the last time they're going to fill the till up, you know, and it's a short career. They need to do that. Perhaps China, where but foreign Chinese clubs don't take defenders very often, but the last move of their career, they're probably waiting for that big one just to come. I remember when I was at Tottenham and Sol Campbell left, and Daniel Levy vowed he'd never ever lose anyone on a free transfer again. Now you're going to lose free players at the end of the season. Hopefully not. Hopefully they can persuade them to stay and sign new contracts. But to lose them free of your best players for £0 is really not good business.
What's the chances of any of them going to Arsenal? Like so?
Well, I mean, that's just unthinkable. I mean, I know you're being mischievous there, Andy, but that is...
You didn't like that question too, did you?
Listen, Sol Campbell went to Arsenal, and look what happened. He won all them trophies. Now you're thinking about it, if you look at it, what do Arsenal need?
Centre-halves.
Centre-halves. You've got the two best centre-halves partnership in the last 5 years in the Premier League, in my opinion, in Vertonghen and Alderweireld. Together, they're incredible. And they need a little bit of guile in Christian Eriksen. Surely it can't happen, so let's move on.
Tell you what, if they did, I mean, I'm really liking Arsenal's front boys again at the moment. I was there watching them at the weekend. And if they did decide they want to go and get a couple like that, wow.
No, it fixed their problem.
If they got...
Wouldn't it?
It fixed their problems like that. Their problem is easy. When you look at Arsenal now, if you was going in there as manager, you'd say, what's their problem? It's easy. Everyone knows. The cleaning lady knows their problem. Centre-halves need to know how to defend. They've got the firepower, got the attacking prowess. They've got the guile once he picks the right players. Sabellas had to play in front of Xhaka. I'm not sure what he gives you. Glenn Doozy, developing player. Torreira can help in there. Get Ozil playing there. You're missing centre-halves. Now, let's move on.
So now that you speak about it, with regard to the Eriksen saga, how would you see it unfolding, Andy? I mean, do you think there's any way that Spurs will come in and offer him big money, or as Tim alluded to there, do you think it is just the fact that he wants a new challenge?
I think it's gotten this far now that if that Madrid or Barca are there for him, even Bayern, I don't know if they would be interested. I mean, you've got to be interested in players of his quality.
Juventus normally come for the free transfers.
For that sort of player. I would have thought if any of those teams are absolutely there for him towards the end of this year, I think by January that will probably be announced. That will be a done deal. It would surprise me now if all of a sudden we saw him trotting out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the start of next season. I'd be very surprised. Yeah, I would be. Yeah.
Tim, as a former manager, how does it affect a dressing room when you've got a player, the ability? We just heard you singing the praises of Christian Eriksen, but it's Pochettino also saying that the squad's unsettled. How does it affect a dressing room when you've got a player that you know is potentially going to be leaving the club, and whether or not you play him? Because he played in two of the opening 3 games, then he started the North London derby. There's a lot of uncertainty around it. Have you ever had players in your career where that has happened, and how has it affected the dressing room?
As a player, yeah, we both have. Me and Andy would have been in dressing rooms where someone wants to leave. Now, I don't care if they want to leave or not. Are they the best players? Are they going to help us win the game on a Saturday? And if the answer is yes, then play them. Why they're still at the club? Just rinse out as much as you possibly can from that player. With the likes of Christian Eriksen, I can talk about Jan Vertonghen as well. Yeah. You can abuse their professionalism because they are not going to throw the toys out of the pram. They are not going to be kicking and screaming now. They're just going to get on with it. They owe that club a lot. They have developed with that football club, and Tottenham owe them a lot, and they've done brilliant. And vice versa. It has been a great relationship. Now, let's hope it doesn't end sour. I don't believe it will. I think they will give everything for the cause between now and the time they have to leave the football club. And the only person who's going to reap them rewards are them Tottenham fans, because them two are the best 2 players at the football club.
Best 2 for you?
For me, the guy, obviously Harry Kane is the star there, but for them, over a period of last 5 or 6 years, they have been absolutely fantastic for that football club, and the football club has been fantastic for them.
And just picking up on a point that you said there, you know both of them very well. They're not the kind of player that you said that would unsettle a dressing room.
Not at all.
With their behaviour and how they act around a football club.
Not at all, not at all. And I don't think that Mauricio would tolerate that anyway. You know, and I think I'm not sure why he didn't play him. You'd have to ask him why he didn't play him at the beginning of the season. But they made the correct decision of bringing him back from the North London derby, and the team performed a lot better.
Yeah. I remember when I went to Middlesbrough, I left Villa to go to Middlesbrough. When I was having my medical there, which, by the way, for a 34-year-old, wasn't the most stringent medical I think I'd ever had. But Ravanelli was there, and I've just walked through the door, and Rav said to me, "Why have you come here? Why have you come here?" You know, all this in his way. Why have you come here? You know, and again, I see that, to me, that spoke volumes of sort of him at that time, really. You know, because he'd fallen out of love with the club and he wanted to go, and then all of a sudden he wants to poison others when you're walking through the door. And quite rightly, Robbo, you know, Brian Robson could see all this and got him out the door pretty sharpish. But it does happen, and if you've got one like that, you have to dispose of them. You have to get them out, whatever it might cost, whatever lengths you have to go to.
There's a lot of similarities with the Eriksen situation.
It was the money, by the way, the reason why I went. Was it? Very similar to Rav. No.
What was your reaction when you said that?
well, you know, hello, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, yeah.
No, it again, I was, what was I, 34? Yeah. So it's different. Look, you know, I've been around the game long enough to understand that people do get fed up, but you know, I think when I was leaving a club, has anyone been walking through the door and I bad-mouthed where I was or what you were doing? You know, no need to do that. But if you have got people like that, and some players are smart, they like to use that as a way to get out the door. Like Tim just said, the 2 boys he was talking about are good lads and they get their head down and get on with it. Others aren't like that. Others are a pain, and you do have to think, right, I've got to do something about this.
That's why we have to give credit to Paul Pogba. I think if he was really kicking up a fuss, I think Ollie would have got rid of him. But he's willing to knuckle down. Perhaps the move wasn't there what he really wanted, but he's willing to knuckle down. And I look at their performances, and I mean, the team hasn't been great, but he has. For me, he's been the shining light, the one who's been driving them on. Yes, he made a mistake for the Palace goal right at the death, but he's the one trying to pick up.
Goal.
Yeah, but he's trying to pick up the ball. He's trying to make them play. He's trying to be incisive. He's trying to do everything. He's trying to do too much, and he needs a little bit of help. But I think we have to give him a lot of credit. Give him a lot of credit because he is not sulking. He's not sulking. Up to now, he's not, and I don't believe he will.
Can you see him in there long term, Paul Pogba, Man United player?
Yeah, I hope so, because they need quality. And where they're going to find the quality, they've found it hard enough to go and find it. I think the free signings have been good. Wan-Bissaka, Daniel James has been sensational. I thought he would be a bit part player, and they're relying on him. And Harry Maguire was a no-brainer. You know, he knew the Premier League inside out. We know what you're going to get from him, and he's giving it to him.
Andy, you've got diligent prep in front of you, it has to be said. A lot of the players that are running down, we've spoken about Eriksen, we've spoken about some other players, but there's actually a lot of players in the last year of their contract. this season, Premier League players. Are you surprised at how many there are, just given the money that is involved in football now, that clubs are allowing this to happen?
Yeah, some are running their contracts down. Some aren't getting offered a deal that they feel they need to get. And so the club, there are, in a lot of these names, the likes of, we've got Eriksen on here, David De Gea, Willian, Alderweireld, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I mean, I don't know if he's... I mean, obviously he's been injured. In fact, he must be the only injured player, young player, with a limited amount of game time under his belt that is so safe in that scenario. Years ago, again, used to get injured. If you had a bad injury, you'd have to be back, playing, fit, proving yourself before a new deal comes on the table. Whereas for this young man, because of the potential that he's shown already, of course the club would.
He's sure to stay, Andy, isn't he?
He's sure to
it's worth putting out Hudson-Odoi coming back from injury, and I believe he is in contract talks as well. So he's a player that we expect to. It certainly has been talks anyway. But some of the other names you've mentioned, David De Gea.
Yep.
Tim, I mean, some huge names on that list.
Yeah, I mean, you won't want to lose David. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think he's in contract talks as well. Yeah. Hopefully that he's one who's going to stay at Manchester United, because we talked about they lack quality in numbers, and he's certainly one of the best in the league. Yeah,
but when you look at Nemanja Matic, Ryan Fraser, now a lot of those other guys we spoke about, 28s, 29s, 30s, 31s, the likes of Joel Matip is on there. You've got...
He's sure to stay as well, Andy, no? Joel Matip.
I mean, I would have thought so, because I think
he's been
in recent times he's played very well.
Yeah.
You know, I think he has Pedro, David Silva, James Milner, Christian Benteke, Adam Lallana. You know, there are guys there around 30, 31, and 31 now is very much like 34 when we were playing. You know, unfortunately, you can find yourself not being given the deal you want when you hit 29 and 30. Clubs don't want to take on massive salaries for someone if they think there's a slight dip in what they're doing and the way that they are.
So you don't see a fault with the clubs in this at all? You just think it's the way that football's evolved since when you guys were playing to now? It's very hard to tie certain players down on these long contracts.
Listen, there are players out there that that are happy to go into their last year. Good luck to them. If they trust themselves, believe in themselves enough, feel that they can keep on producing slightly a bit more under pressure, because when you know your contract's coming to an end, you know you want to play well, you don't want to have a spell where it's not happening, you need to perform. So, but there are also players on that list that the clubs don't want to give the deal that the player knows I should be getting, because they don't want to tie him down for a certain period of time and end up paying extortionate wages for a player they feel may be slightly in decline.
Tim, we saw Aaron Ramsey last season ran down his contract. Obviously had the pre-contract agreement with Juventus, had a good season for Arsenal, was used a lot. Do you expect to see more of those type of deals going through this season, just given how many players are on that list? Do you think there could be some big players that we see going
you would say,
for nothing?
It's two different things. It's about motive. What's the motive of the player running down his contract? There's only two reasons. They either want to leave that club because they feel there's a Christian Eriksen type where he feels there's a better club out there, or they're just doing it for the money. They're just doing it for the money. They either want to win trophies or they want to fill the till up for the last time. A lot of them are coming towards the end of their careers, and it's the last big payday. You're getting paid more money when you go on a free transfer because it's a whole package what you build in. So if they haven't got to pay a fee for you, they can just give it to you. So, listen, they're all different reasons there. Joel Matip, for instance, why would he want to leave Liverpool? Where is he going to get a club better than Liverpool? He's not. No. He's not going to get one out there. So as long as he plays the game time and he's happy that Joe Gomez is not going to push him out and play alongside Van Dijk, I'm sure he'll get enough game time to satisfy him, and he will stay at Liverpool Football Club.
Most of the boys on that list, as I said, sort of around top 20s, 30s, early 30s, up to 32, Fernandinho, 34. But again, one there, Ryan Fraser, 25.
Yeah, you said that jumps out at you a bit, doesn't it?
Well, because you don't get too many younger guys that are happy to. But Ryan's played regular football at his club. Interesting decision for Ryan Fraser this now.
Yeah, and got huge goal contribution. Ryan Fraser had his stats last season in terms of goals and assists. Do you expect him to stay? How do you see that one panning out?
Again, he's talented. He has an impact on matches. I think there's no doubt about that when he plays. Pace. He's got some pace. Does he go to a top 5-6 club and get in their team and play with the amount of regularity that he does at Bournemouth right now? I'm not so confident on the answer to that one. But there's no question that if one of them big clubs could have someone like him in their pot for nothing, wow, they do it.
But then that'd be the worst thing for him. He needs to be
Yeah.
sure. He needs to be as sure as he possibly can. You can't guarantee that you're going to go there and you're going to play, because it's important for him not to go and have 2 years off. Yeah, you might have a lot more cash and you might be at a bigger club, but you're not playing. You're not playing. I think the next move for him, and if no disrespect to Bournemouth, is a Leicester or an Everton or someone just underneath where I feel he can really have an impact. And he's still young enough to take that next step, if that next step comes.
How tough is it at that age of your career? You talked about how the difference of being 34 and your age to 31 now. That contract, which could be a final contract for a lot of players, it's a big call to make, isn't it? If you get it wrong, that could be the end of your career.
Yeah, it's a really big call. You want to make sure that you get that move's got to be a good one. We've seen a lot of players. Tim mentioned China earlier. See players going out there and then within months they're wanting to come out of there. Look, again, you know, the financials that they throw at you are so enormous that it's very, very difficult to walk away from. But there's no question that I think when you've been in the hurly-burly of our league and you still feel you've got plenty to offer, I think if you go, you'll miss it.
Okay.
I honestly think you'll miss that.